Mama Julu, Honorable, don't let Mama Julu to forget the institutional memory. Mama Julu, you are my friend. Not so? Mama Julu. Mama Julu.
Mama Julu, you know the rules of procedure do not accept you to talk to a member like that. You address the chair.
Mama Julu, have you hijacked my chair? Am I still the chair? Why are you not happy with me? You're not happy with me. You will be happy with me. WAKISO District Land Board.
Honorable Chair, honorable members on the committee, I'm Dr. Dong Livingstone, the chairperson of WAKISO District Land Board. I've come with the senior land management officer of WAKISO District, Mr. COSASE, and I bring apologies for my colleagues. In fact, we are here by 9 in the morning, a.m., and we are stopped by the entry. In fact, I had gone back almost in Kawepe when Mr. COSASE informed me that the sitting is going to be on. The information around was telling us that no more sittings. And my colleagues, Mr. Kabuye Stephen, Mr. Mwasanji, and Niger Jane had to go back.
Mr. Kabuye, the former mayor.
Yes. And Mr. Mwasanji Stephen is the secretary to our board. Niger Jane is a member. And Mr. Chiwanuka Abdallah is also a member. Members, we are here on
If it was possible, I would send you back and you come with Mr. Kabuye. And I ask him, why is it that Ntebe is not clean now than like the way it was during his tenure? But because you have appeared here, I will not ask, but I will adjourn maybe for him to be here.
Okay.
If at all you don't finish the work, the queries which you are asking, then I will have to adjourn for him to be here.
It is under your control, sir. Now, on 6th February 2020, we are here, and we tried to present what you requested us to present. And you informed us that you'll be telling us or informing us of what to do next and when to be invited again. But we didn't get any more other information to search on. And here we are. Probably when you went through our documents, you might be with some information which you need us to clarify on. Otherwise, the information we have around is what we try to search on.
If I may recall, we talked of Kajansi, and because we didn't have detailed information, I remember having told you that we shall interact with you if the time comes.
Yes.
And that's and here we are. Unless if you have some documents you have to submit before this committee. If we don't have, do you have any documents you want to submit before the committee?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Then I will ask the chairman of the Investor Committee and the executive secretary to lead us in this session in the matter regarding Kajansi, Nakigala Tea Estate Kajansi, measuring 306.36 acres. Thank you.
There was also another matter where you had asked for the interface on plot 99, Kampala Road, Entebbe, where a certificate was issued not to the registered proprietor, but to someone who was applying for the property. We are the opinion that that procedure is alien.
Mr. COSASE, didn't you recall that then?
Honorable Chair, I did note it down, but the conclusion was that you would formally, because in our presentation we expressed the concern that in the correspondence we looked at, there was an attempt to query that transaction, but was cleared by a communication from custodian board. So you promised to interact with custodian board on the regularity of that, and then get back.
That was brought.
9, Kampala Road, Entebbe, LRV 313, folio 14 on page 3.
Custodian board.
On page 3
Of the submission of custodian board then.
Of the board of WAKISO.
And you have been with that submission for 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
This one.
Yes.
No, the time when they appeared here. Remember,
here.
the same issue. Or now a certificate of repossession would be issued to any other than the registered proprietor. And I was saying that is alien. Then you said
99 Kampala Road.
they had queried it, saying there's no birth certificate, then you wrote clearly.
Honorable members, we also have a petition which I think they can apply, if I can read it verbatimly. It's the information in respect of illegal or fraudulent acquisition of a repossession certificate on a plot comprising plot number LRV 136 4017, land at Kajansi, measuring approximately 281.00 acres. So which land at Kajansi the thing is too big, but I think if I read through, we can because we have 2 copies. I think for the purposes of clarity, I would request members to allow me to read this petition. Then it gives some insight with the custodian board and WAKISO district land board to able to respond to this petition. Information in respect of illegal fraudulent acquisition of a repossession certificate on property comprised in plot number LRV 136 folio 17, land at Kajans measuring approximately 281.00 acres. The brief facts. The above subject refers therein in the departed Asian Property Custodian Board claim interest in the property. This was a property where a repossession certificate was applied by purportedly the owner Manjula Ben W. Lamabai Balmabai Patel, and thereafter disposed it off to Chandrakati Lamabai Patel without following Section 4 and mandatory Section 8 of the Expropriated Properties Act. It has been discovered that after the sale of the land to one Chandrakati Lamabai, immediately subdivided it into two plots, vis-a-vis plot 102, which was transferred to LRV 2959 folio 7, and plot 103 transferred to LRV 2958 folio 6, and thereafter the entire folio was suspiciously closed. The grant number was subsequently tampered with and changed into a block, and called it an error which has never been rectified to date, even after the discovery of it as claimed. The word grant on the certificate of title was renamed block to conceal the loot. They gave me the map here with me. Excuse me. Let me get my map here, that I can pass it over to members there. Okay. If you look at the block, where there is a block 270, instead of using the block 270, they opted to use the word grant on the certificate of title was renamed. The word grant on the certificate of title was renamed block to conceal the loot. If you go through that map. Background: the divestiture committee carried out a research extensive on this property and found out that the property was purportedly repossessed. The investor committee carried out extensive search on this property and found out that the property was purportedly repossessed suspiciously, not by the true owner. The land is a crown land held under crown lease number 30492 with a lease of 99 years starting from 1st April 1930. Copies here attached, A and title as A2. Members, the first proprietor of this land in question were, namely, Cisse Cholil, Frederick Sitman, Frank Thomas Chaloli, registered on title under instrument number 23869, and by the time of expropriation, the registered proprietor was Manjul Blaine, wife of Laman Bai Halman Bai Patel, under instrument number 162270 on 13th August 1965. In 1971, the Asians were expelled in 1971 and the property was expropriated. In 1992, the property was purportedly repossessed. On 21st March 1995, a special certificate of title was issued. On 1st September 1995, the property was sold and transferred to Chandrakanti Lamabai Patel under instrument number 273495. This was done before the expiry of the 5 years against Section 8 of the Expropriated Properties Act. On 1st February 2002, under instrument number 322427, the land was subdivided into 2 plots. Thus, plot 102 transferred to LRV 2958 Folio 7 with an area of 20.8 hectares, and plot 103 transferred to LRV 2958 Folio 8 with an area of 96.7 hectares for a lease of 99 years, respectively. On the 2 titles, the word grant was changed to block and technically inserted there a county description of Busiro for reasons best known to the registered proprietor, read as Busiro block, and it is being said as an error. But since 2002, the error has never been rectified. These changes were done behind the curtains of departed Asians Property Custodian Board and Uganda Land Commission. In 2006, Lambai Patel applied to Mpiji District Land Board to the land converted to freehold, which was granted, and the land was to be described not as a leasehold of 99 years, but a freehold held for perpetuity. This means that all the transactions bore the wrong descriptions the land applied for, as all these errors to date are on the register. In essence, Block 537, which was illegally created instead of Grant 537, does not exist, and all transactions on it are illegal. Another syndicate is that of Chadondo Block 237, which the schemers claims that the same land partly covers, but according to the technical people, the 2 blocks, thus Busiro Block 537 and Chadondo Block 237, are 16 kilometers apart. This, to a layman, is outrightly fraud of the highest order. Copies of the letter from the PS Means of Lands is there attached. In 2010, the wife of the game plan was put on fire by one Miss Parul Chandra Patel, who owned shares by 30th July 2010, had 20% shares, and by 11th August 2010, had 50% shares in Lakeside Township Limited, gave 2 special powers of attorney to Jahavil Chandra Kati Patel, powers to deal in part of the land comprised in FRV 429 405, Block 537, then Plot 103, WAKISO Busiro, then FRV 432 423, Block 537, Plot 102, WAKISO. Copies of powers are here attached as C1 and C2. On 22nd July 2010, a sale agreement was made between Lakeside Township Limited and Kikonyogo Investments Limited for the purchase of the 2 plots of now Block 537. Copy of the sale agreement titles are here attached. In May 2018, Damaniko Properties Limited was registered on the title Busiro Block 537. Allegedly, it was claiming part of the land from Lakeside Properties Limited as a result of a debt of 9.632 billion it had borrowed. Copy of the consent judgment is hereby attached E. Consequently, those who are in the know have joined the bandwagon and are comfortably defending the illegality and have procured titles. These include Kikonyogo Investments and Damaniko Properties Limited, and are on the titles illegally. All these flouted Section 8 of the Expropriated Properties Act, Cap 87, where it is required to the owner, after obtaining repossession, not transfer land to another till after 5 years without a consent from the minister, and this was done as not done, coupled with changing the crown lease grant to block without the knowledge of departed SGN custodian boards, was legal, and one Chandra Pakanti Lamabai Patel, who applied for the conversion, thus to Mpiji District Land Board, had no powers as was registered on title illegally. All in all, transaction land comprised in LRV 136/417, land at Kajansi, were done illegally without the consent of the minister as under Section 8 of Expropriated Properties Act. request is to summon all those who have mentioned in these properties, but the key fellows copy were given to Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Minister of Finance, and others. Custodian Board. We'll start with the WAKISO District Land Board. Is that the same land with this? Or they are two different persons? Block 270. It was changed to this one. Yes, that was block 270, so it was changed to, according to that, to a Crown land number. So they use the Crown land grant number they interchanged it to a block.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Before responding substantially, I would like to guide that given the length of this matter, we need to join the Commissioner, Land Registration, in answering some of these seemingly contradictions. Because the Land Board, you will note from this petition that the certificate of repossession was allegedly obtained in 1992. And in 1995, a special certificate was issued in respect of that very property. And there is also another chronology detailing how this land was converted from a grant which ideally would be a freehold certificate of title or a freehold tenure, to leasehold, then subsequently freehold. That is a very confusing flow of events. And personally, including the board that I advised, we may not ably answer all those. I, for one, know that this matter has been a subject of prolonged litigation. And in all these court cases, the District Land Board has never been made privy or party to those different court cases. I know that the Commission on Registration has been a principal actor, in some cases appearing as the respondent or applicant and witness. So we may not conclude this puzzle minus the Commissioner and Registration. If there is any action that was done by WAKISO District Land Board, I'm sure it was based on the honest belief that this land was, that the titles were genuine, because that is what the registry reflected. The registry reflected that chronology of events, and ours, the District Land Board has a mandate to manage leases that were issued by other predecessor bodies. But the underlying issue is that the lease should be genuine. And the genuineness of a lease or not is verified at the land registry, which is managed by the Commissioner, Land Registration. So I think he's a very key person in enabling all of us here to join these dots.
I think you're right on that, but before we dilate on the same matter, can we, Majulu, do you still have the institutional memo of that land, whether it belongs to Custodian Board?
Honorable Chair, that land belonged to departed Asians, and it was repossessed Then after that, so many others came and started claiming, even after the possession, like the Maniko group, like the Kikonyoko group. And then all of a sudden we hear that they started transacting on it with these people of the, yeah, they started transacting with UNRWA. We called them for a meeting, I think, was it last year? We called them for a meeting, but the matter is still left unresolved.
So they didn't come back, they didn't come, the UNRWA people?
No.
Clark, not UNRWA?
Additionally, we visited that, through the Vista Committee visited that property, and we found out that it is basically a bush, and some part of it people are clearing, others are making some bricks. So we're interested in, and of course, that was upon we're responding to a petition by some group, and we had a dispute settlement meeting. Then we also wrote UNRWA because there were compensations being made on the property. We wrote UNRWA to hold all the payments until.
And they went ahead to pay 9 billion, 11 billion.
That was yet issues emerging. Then we have also written to find out one Mrs. Is it Patel, somebody, about the travel details to immigration, and we are making a follow-up. And basically, I think within a short time we are going to have a decision based on the hearing that we conducted. But this doesn't stop this complainant.
How did Madhavan group come in then?
That one we are applied the Honorable Chair. Yet.
If I may give some information, all these new actors you see, they came after the possession, they started transacting amongst themselves, as if there was no authority at all on their own. So for that matter, as the officer from WAKISO has said, Commissioner of Land Registration, I think we should be invited to give also his side of the story.
Executive Secretary.
Honorable Chair, as it has been put by Mama Jurende, my chairperson of the Vesture Committee, all the intricacies there on that property, came after the deposition process. That's where there are so many transactions and entries. When I read the file, the Commissioner Land Registration has a lot to answer because he had his technical input. Also, as you put the petitioner put it, the issue of distance from one property to another, over 19 kilometers, and the crown land issue, they are called for the advice of a cartographer to really specifically show where does this property belong. Also, what we learned, the change of grant, freehold, lease, that one has a lot in terms of technical input, how it was transferred from crown to grant to lease. Without much ado, also we need to have these players brought here to explain.
Like Chikonyogo Investment,
UNRWA,
Damaniko, Madhavan Group.
That's it.
Commissioner Land Registry.
Yes.
Land Registration, and the cartographer. Is it a government cartographer or what?
That's
cartographer, Minister of Lands. Where is my map?
I think the best person to
Members, who has my map? I can give it to me.
for purposes of understanding the survey discrepancies would be either the DSS, district staff survey, or the commissioner surveys and mapping. Otherwise, the cartographer is a law.
We call for
commissioner survey and mapping.
Or even the district survey.
Yes.
Commissioner survey and mapping.
And in case next time you come along with your district survey.
Members,
No problem.
I think as the Senior Land Management Officer WAKISO has put it, that we can't resolve this matter not until we have all these prayers. I therefore direct the clerk to invite Kikonyogo Investments Limited, to invite UNRA, because in this custodian board wrote to UNRA not to pay, but they went ahead and paid 11 billion. So after receiving the communication, why did they went ahead to pay 11 billion, which means the government has lost 11 billion to its own land? So therefore, the clerk should invite UNRA, Damanico Properties Limited, Madivani Group, the Commissioner Land Registration, and Commissioner Survey and Mapping in Ministry of Lands to appear before this committee on 27th March 2020 at 10 a.m. Then we can proceed with that issue. Unless we have another issue on WAKISO. 99, custodian board.
Before you close that matter, Chair, maybe custodian board, you need to be on standby. Want the copy of the letter you wrote to UNRA.
UNRA paid Chikonyogo and paid Damanico. Chikonyogo, they paid around 4 billion?
2 billion.
2 billion. Then Damanico, 9 billion.
Custodian board want the letter you wrote to UNRA.
Yes. So I think 27th when we are having all boards, because the reason why we want the commissioner, even the subsequent districts who have the district land boards who have had, we needed the intervention of the commissioner, so we can ably handle that at the same on the same date on 27th March 2020 at 10 a.m. With that, I adjourn this session. Also, sorry. For this, I think it is for WAKISO, when they are coming on 27 to give us the status quo of these estates. Katale Estate, Kakiri Farm and Estate. I think, and
Mr. Chairman, Katale they gave. It's here.
Let me read, then we shall remove what I gave and what I don't give. They can give what they have not given. Then Katale Estate, Kakiri Farm and Estate, Busi Island Sawmill, the land FLV 1601 Folio 2, Plot 7, Hoima Road, Wosiro. Then Wosiro Planters Limited, measuring 16.3 acres. Again, Wosiro Planters Limited, measuring 83.7 acres. Again, Wosiro Planters Limited, measuring 236.5 acres. Then 400 at 12 miles Kampala Hoima Road in Busunju. Then the land at Butenga, Kivingi Road in Butenga Town Council. Plot 91, Kampala Road, Entebbe. Plot 35, those ones I think they did respond in that. Plot 37, Kampala Road, Entebbe. Plot 52, 58, Kampala Road, Entebbe. Those which you have responded to, should not respond. You can only respond to those which you didn't respond to. I therefore also direct the custodian board to give us a copy of the following properties, a photocopy of the following properties: Katale Estate, Kakiri Farm and Estate, Bush Island Sawmills, Katale Estate, Kakiri Farm and Estate, Bush Busi Island Saw Mills. The land under FRV 601 folio 2 plot 7 Hoima Road. The file of Busilo Planters Limited measuring to 16.3 acres. Planters Limited measuring 16.3 acres. The file of Busilo Planters Limited measuring 83.7 acres. Yes, limited, measuring 83.7 acres. That is Busilo. Busilo Planters Limited, the land measuring 236.5 acres in Busilo. The file of 400 acres at 12 miles Kampala Hoima Road, Busunju. The plot of land at Butenga, Kibingi Road in Butenga Town Council. Plot 91 Kampala Road, Entebbe. Plot 35 Kampala Road, Entebbe. 35 Kampala Road, Entebbe. Plot 37 Kampala Road, Entebbe. And plot 52/58 Kampala Road, Entebbe. We need those files before 27, so that members can have perused through.
Maybe, Mr. Chairman, they can add this.
Excuse me if you come, and for the plot 99 Kampala Road, Entebbe.
No, Kampala Road.
Okay.
Please add FRV 31 folio 2 Bweyogerere Estate. 31 folio 2 Bweyogerere Estate.
And I should caution custodian board. Sometimes we ask some files and you don't respond positively. We don't want to apply measures which might not be in your favor, to ask you to bring those files, but we need those files before 27 so that members can internalize and find a way how we can ably respond to the queries and petitions before the committee. Unless you have a question.
Thank you, Chair. In this submission of WAKISO on page 7, there was also Katerema Estate.
Yes, they submitted them, but we didn't go into them because we had not read through the files of custodian board, and the custodian board have not ably responded to that because it was the first engagement with them. So that's why they're going to go with the file, and we'll request them for those files so that we can also appreciate that.
Chair?
Yep.
Should it be included in the list of what the custodian board should give the committee?
So what members are saying, that in addition to what I've read, you should include all the lists of the properties, give us the narrative of the list of properties which WAKISO District Land Board presented before this committee, whether it correlates with your records you have in custodian board, so that we can appreciate their submission. Thank you. With that, unless you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. These properties, as you have listed them, appear in SI 17 of 1995. And we took effort to look for their particulars, but we are not able to get them because when you simply put in the system Kachiri Estate, it will show 0 results. So we would request that custodian board provides us with the particulars of that land, and we request that it be done in time. We don't want the embarrassment our colleagues before faced
We therefore direct Custodian Board to provide with WAKISO District Land Board with all the necessary documents pertaining the properties we have read before you, so that they can be able to respond to those properties on 27th March 2020.
But, Honorable Chair, it's very dangerous, especially when we move without giving our side.
In which respect?
In respect of retrieval of these files and documents, necessary documents. Honorable Chair, actually we are overwhelmed
by what?
Board by the magnitude of the work, and we have some little money to use, but given the way how the archives was managed then, and the current situation, I appreciate Chairperson and other members. Since now we are working together, it would also be important for you to come and see where we get these files. Actually, it takes us some days to get a file. It is manual. It is manual, literally manual. And we promise, without much ado, Honorable Chair, we promise that we are going to do all what it takes to get this information. But if we have some shortfalls, we beg that you bear with us.
Members, I really appreciate your plea, but I will not take it with some reservations. I'll just maintain my directive that you should provide those files before this committee, before 27th March 2020. Thank you. With that,
with regards to the files,
yes.
Even if the files are got, reading some files are so problematic, it takes time. Some of us have been working even on weekends, including Sunday. So reading file is very difficult, so I really don't know.
We are doing this work not for our own, but for the good of our country. So we need those files by before 27th March 2020.
What is the problem? We did ask you to read the file. We only asked you that if a file shows Katalemwa, just get the file. It's written on top, Katalemwa. That is what we want.
Wouldn't any narrative be needed?
Pardon?
Wouldn't some narrative be needed?
If you feel like there is a time to write a narrative, it's okay. But if you don't have time for that, we need the files. Okay. And also provide that very information to WAKISO District Land Board for them to know whether they dealt in that land, whether in Ela or they dealt it in the same land, so that by 27th we sort that thing out there and then we want to finish this issue.
Actually, don't write a narrative, just bring the file.
Executive Secretary.
Honorable Chair, it would look very strange. Our files in Kasan Board, it is a preserve of institutions now like you. Because all what transpired in Kasan Board, now you are privy to that information. But now the information that we need from like WAKISO and other areas, we need to correlate what they have with ours. But giving us what we have to them, it is inconsequential. Because what we did as Kasan Board then does not really affect them. What affects them is what they have done after the actions of Kasan Board.
Honorable Chair.
Yes.
Our request is a simple one. It's just for the particulars of the land, the description of the land.
Not the files.
Not the file. Okay. We just want where it is described as block and plot, those particulars. Where it is FRV or LRV, those very particulars, just that. Not
Executive Secretary, are you comfortable with that?
No problem if that's just...
Are you going to follow the directive to provide them with those documents, with those particulars?
Much obliged.
So that by 27 March 2020 at 10 a.m., you can be able to explain that. We also don't want to always invite you to come here, but we need to do our work, help us to finish our work because our time is about to end.
Honorable Chair, just a brief one. Humble request. WAKISO could avail us with a soft copy of their submission so that we can just factor in our response, or our status, so that That serves the purpose.
WAKISO.
Mr. Chairman, we can have that arranged. But my last one, we have an invitation again to appear here on the 24th.
That is, yes, you will
I
appear.
want us to
Yes,
leave
that
this
is a
place.
different matter, not regarding this. Yep. So with that, I adjourn this meeting for these particular issues at hand to 27 March 2020 at 10 a.m. I'd like to thank the WAKISO District Land Board for registering your attendance and always respond immediately whenever we request you.